First off, just is there any update on Raquana? And then how did Candace's basket there at the end of regulation help the team kind of wake up for overtime?
First question, not a real update of any kind. She's being evaluated tonight, and so we'll either learn more tonight or maybe first thing tomorrow morning, and then we'll go from there. That's kind of all we have at the moment. She left in good spirits to go get an MRI and get everything checked out. So we'll have more information for you as soon as we get it. And then the second question, I don't think it was just Candace scoring the basket, but also I think the level of defense that we were forced to play to end the fourth quarter and then to win the game in overtime. I think that's what really brought the group together and kind of woke them up, as you're saying. We had to get some stops kind of late in that fourth quarter in order to even have a chance to get the game to overtime. And then in overtime, of course, we put together a great series of defensive possessions that, just they all should be proud of. And that's usually what it takes in order to win. And I'm glad we got a chance to have this kind of experience in a game like this tonight.
Sukni New in LA Times.
Two questions also. Speaking to Raquana, do you know if she's going to get an MRI or an X-ray or anything like that? And then for Candace creating energy, especially on defense, how big was her just drawing that charge there?
We're definitely going to give Raquana an MRI as soon as possible, and make sure that we know exactly what is or isn't going on. And like I said, as soon as we get something back that we can share, between Eli and Michael and myself, we'll get that information to you, as soon as possible. What Candace is doing defensively this year cannot go, unseen, unnoticed, and we can't not talk about it anymore. She's been phenomenal on the defensive end, what she's doing in terms of rebounding, shot blocking, talking, communicating, really just trying to, provide a level of energy and passion on that end of the floor. Her teammates need that from her, and there's been a ton of possessions this season where she's providing it. And she was the catalyst for us defensively late in that fourth quarter and in overtime. That's the difference between winning and losing. And when your best players are leading by example, when it comes to those things, it lifts everybody else up to another level.
Avi, H&B Media.
Hey, Coach. You kind of spoke about it, actually, but I know, you may not give too much consideration to, awards, but, I mean, as far as Candace and, what she's been doing defensively, have you given some thought to her possibly winning Defensive Player of the Year?
I started thinking about it earlier tonight, actually, as we were preparing for this game and, looking at some things from a statistical perspective and analytical things that, we look at as we're preparing. Where she is, again, with the rebounding and, her defensive rating, the way she's blocking shots, changing shots, and just doing a lot of things to make a difference for us out there. She's definitely one of the reasons why, we're in the upper echelon of defensive teams in terms of rating this season. And, I think she at least deserves to be in the conversation. But we have to sustain our effort as a team, and, she'll have to continue to sustain her effort individually.
Chris Camello.
Coach, impressive win yet again. Last game you talked about how Phoenix was able to come back and how that experience would be positive because you could have more situations like that as the season goes on and then potentially in the playoffs. Where did this game kind of fall into that kind of like experience that you guys hope to have, moving forward?
Yeah, no, great question. I mean, honestly, I think it kind of one-ups the Phoenix game because we found ourselves behind all of a sudden in this game. And, we had to find a way to come back and win after being ahead. Um, the blowout games are, they're more rare than you think in professional sports. We ran off a few, and it's easy to think that that's how it's going to go every time. And the last couple games that's more like what professional sports is about. Like it's a competition. There are major momentum swings that happen throughout the course of a game. And, we feel like for our team, this type of adversity strengthens us and makes us better. It forces us to dig deeper. It forces us to commit more and be even more disciplined sometimes than we have sometimes the pleasure of being not as disciplined because of the talent. And when you find yourself in situations where you have to be disciplined in order to get the job done, we're able to rise to that challenge. And part of it is to develop the ability to do that as consistently as possible so you don't find yourself in these situations. But in the biggest games and the biggest moments, everything that we had to do tonight to win, we're going to have to do it to win then. And so you're better off having the experience of it.
Last question for Coach John W. Davis.
Hey, Coach. So I wanted to ask you about Brittany Sykes and TRP. TRP didn't score a bucket. Brittany Sykes was playing with 5 fouls, but it seemed like they were really able to make a difference along with Candace and everybody else who was on the court. But those two in particular seemed like they were really able to make a difference on the perimeter. What did you see from that duo?
Just a tenacity, a toughness, accepting the challenge of, like, literally, I'm not going to let her score. There's a pride in that type of performance that, again, it's important for teammates to see. Somebody has to take the lead in that regard. And everybody can't lead offensively, statistically, points per game, etc. That's not what everybody's needed to do in a particular season. Um, Obviously we're LA, where it's Hollywood is where they make shows and films, etc. And the greatest movies, films, shows, theater, plays, like everybody has a role to play. And there are times where the person with less lines than somebody else, they made the whole movie go because of the role that they played that you remember. It stood out to you because you can feel the passion in it. You can feel the commitment to what they were saying and doing. And to me, that's what's Brittany and TRP. And when players defensively make that kind of effort, knowing that they're not going to get any credit for necessarily, on the stat sheet, that's a deeper level of commitment that everybody's not made to put out. And we're glad to have both of those players on our side.